By the way, just since you mentioned PR, and again, you're retired, so who gives a fuck now, mate? I thought actually, you just reminded me of a hilarious story that no one knows, which is one of your classic rivals was HuK, obviously. Because first of all, you were both Protoss players, you both... In fact, the whole thing is you were basically vying for the same spot. Like, he was in Korea a lot more than the others. He made a round of 8 of GSL. Everyone loved him. Everyone hated you. You were obviously even on the same team. But this is what's mad, and this again is going to give some insight. So when you joined EG, I mean, technically you were on the Alliance brand, right? But let's spoil it, it was just EG. Alex Garfield just had the 2 brands, didn't he?
Now I remember.
When you joined this team, right, everyone stupidly thought, oh, well, what's going to happen is now he's going to become best friends with all those guys, all those Americans, and they're going to love him or whatever. And here's the thing, I won't lie. Some of them did sort of try to, like, extend the hand. But if you know NaNiwa back then, you just slapped it away as you did with everyone. So because at the time, again, all you cared about was how good I am at StarCraft. And so to you, if people don't get it, the reason why you weren't a fan of HuK was you thought he was overrated. So to you, it was like, well, he's nothing like me. I'd stop saying, like, fuck it, why would I be friends with him? I'm better than him. Like, I don't have to be. Andy talked shit on me in the past. So there's this hilarious story, right, where obviously you were a nightmare for so many orgs for PR, tweeting shit, doing stuff after interviews. Probably the worst of all times when you just like you couldn't win anymore at that Korean tournament, so you just did the pro brush, and all the Koreans were like super butthurt because you'd like dishonored their whole culture or some shit. Like, I thought it was hilarious in the West, mate, but then again, I also didn't understand how like serious it was there. I was like, yeah, lighten up. But this is the story. It's fucking amazing. When you were at an MLG this year, 2013, right? You beat HuK. I think you might even have knocked him out of the tournament. You beat him in the tournament, right? And this is what's mad. This is where I knew even the mental game you were starting to learn, again, how to let your opponent make the mistake. The fact that you don't always have to be the one who's like attacking in that sense. So what I remember happened was, whereas normally you'd be the one who'd say some comment, do that, you actually didn't do anything when HuK tried to like talk shit or something. And he did something mad. Like, I think he might have done either an interview or he said something on Twitter that was like rude or whatever. And what's mad is, he must have been so tilted. He got fined by EG for doing that. Like, he actually got punished himself for doing it against you. You actually won the PR war for once, mate. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that same thing, but that made me think about a lot of things. Like, the reason why they made Alliance in the first place was because...
To not let you on EG, right?
Yeah, exactly. because of HuK. So it goes a bit deeper than you described even. Like, he refused to be teammates with me, so they had to make a new EG. Oh man, those were some times. And I remember I was saying that HuK was overrated and stuff, and like he was like threatening to come to my place in Korea and like attack me or some shit. Like, okay. It was making this whole fucking, oh my god, you made me remember some fun times for sure. I mean, today I do like HuK for sure. Like, I think he has calmed down a lot, and I have calmed down a lot. I think he is fine now.
No, I had the same thing happen, mate, where basically, like, one time on Twitter, he just literally called me a cunt one time. So what I did is, because again, I'm also a petty person. I was back then, let's pretend we've all grown and stuff since then, I've changed since then. So what I used to do, though, is he called me a cunt, though, mate, when I had, 3,000 Twitter followers. So when I blew up in, League of Legends, CSGO, and I was at, 200,000, and I was getting, to be a big profile. But, he came from StarCraft, so he probably still had 50k or something. All I would do is, if I ever saw him in the news and he just pissed me off, I would just go and retweet the tweet where he called me a cunt or whatever, and then everyone would be like, what the fuck? That's so unacceptable that you would do that. And then he was just basically, being like, oh, come on, mate, stop doing that. And I was like, you fucked with me. So I will say, he actually has changed. He's mellowed out loads. All that's behind us. He actually is a fairly cool guy now. He's, now that he's not competing especially, you can just be normal people after that, can't you? You don't have to be at war all the time.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I don't remember exact. Now it struck me. I remember what you're talking about now. It was some MLG. I talked some shit. He talked some shit. He tried to go for the next way, and I kept provoking him. And eventually, he said something really bad in front of the PR team. He got fined. It was a good event for sure. I don't remember exactly what was said, but that's how I remember it. That we both provoked each other. Like the bitch I was, I went to the org and told them, "Oh my god, you're going to allow this?" And that kind of stuff. But eventually he got fined. I mean, it's a fun story today, right? So.
Sure. Yeah, we can all laugh about it now. Exactly. No, actually,
Yeah.
there's one thing as well that people wouldn't realise is back then, the EG strategy really was just like, we've got all the money and the sponsors, so just buy everyone who's good. Like, there's a famous story where almost everyone who ever won a European tournament, like Mana, fucking all, they all just used to get like an offer from EG and they either joined or didn't. You know, some of them stayed at other teams, some joined. Right? If people don't know back then, I know another reason why you also didn't like some of those players is because at the time, some of them didn't have great results, but because they had all this money in the org, some of them were getting paid like 3 times what the best Korean player got paid, and then they were just, you know, coming like 10th place or something. So, like, basically being an EG was it if you wanted to make good money back then, right?
Yeah, exactly. I remember they were talking about like Hydra, he got like 10k plus per month, which was a very good deal in StarCraft back then, like really good. And like, I think even like the worst players like Machine, LC Gamer, and those kind of people, I mean, they still got like way more than they were producing in terms of results. So for sure, I didn't respect them at all in that sense. Like, obviously, if you're way better at the game and somebody's getting paid a lot more, obviously, I do believe I had some justification in that sense. That like, I mean, I'm way better than them. Like, but I mean, you could say the same for the Koreans, right? Like, if they were seeing some other foreigners who got paid way more and so on. So I mean, it's. But yeah, for me, I was always a lot like that because I always believed that I also had like a good value in terms of like, I was a foreigner, I was doing pretty well, I deserved that and that and that. So yeah, and to be honest, like the Americans were cocky as fucking hell as well. I remember like their ego was insanely big. And I don't know if it's like an American thing, but it was always that boasting / pride thing, you know?
Yeah. Sure.